So moving more into the pitching side of things for the Jays, what do you think as a former catcher is the most important piece in that pitcher-catcher relationship?
Oh, great question. Communication is obviously number one. You've got to be so in touch with where they are at as a catcher with your pitchers. You've got to know how they're feeling that day, and you've got to really get creative when they don't have their best stuff. It's trying to get those guys through games where they don't have their best stuff that you really kind of earn your money. That's what you do as a catcher, and how you try and earn your stripes and earn your paycheck is how you get them through those mid games and scratch out a 6-inning 3-run effort. And a lot of that you can't really measure, and a lot of it's really hard to see. You don't really see a lot of what goes on behind the scenes in clubhouses when you're having conversations after games in hotels with certain guys about certain pitches and sequences. And it's a real one-on-one tandem that I really enjoyed about that position.
What about when they're taking a pitcher out, you're all on the mound? What are you saying in that moment?
Mound visits are pretty interesting because you have to know the guy.
Yeah.
Some guys need a pat on the shoulder. Some guys need a kick in the pants. Sometimes you just need to go and totally reset. I mean, I've gone out there a couple times when a guy just has no idea and asked him a random question like, hey, what'd you have for breakfast this morning? Just to kind of reset.
Yeah.
Because, sometimes you can feel that they're thinking mechanics. They're trying to aim the ball, and you're just trying to get them out of that mental space. Those were really fun. And going up there and trying to figure out funny stuff to say and just kind of relax a guy. But there were also times when you had to get up there and you had to, let's bleep and go. And then there were times when you had to go out to the mound and say, hey, man, it's all right. We're going to get through this. You're good. You got a great fastball today, even if they didn't. Your slider, look, we can get it to the outer half. If we can get it there, we're in good shape, even though you don't believe you can get it there.
Right.
You've got to kind of fake it till you make it sometimes. But those were the fun parts that I enjoyed as a catcher because nobody knows what's actually being said.
You know how teams always have that one guy, and we think the Jays is Chapman is probably one of the top ones in that clubhouse, kind of hyping them up.
Sure.
What are you saying after a loss?
A lot of people don't realize that over the course of 162 games in 182 days, you're spending more time with these guys than you are your family. And so when things go bad, if you're constantly wearing somebody out when things aren't going well, they're going to tune your voice out. And so after tough games, sometimes just nothing needs to be said.
Yeah.
But there's kind of ebbs and flows of when you just know, let's have a little closed door meeting. And I'm talking about maybe 5 to 6 a year over 162 games. It's not as many as you might think, but you can also go around and just pick a guy up. So if I knew a guy had a tough game and he'd be sitting in his locker after the game, head slouched or whatever and untying his shoelaces, I'd just go over and give him a little tap on the shoulder and get in his ear and be like, hey man, we're behind you. We got you.
Yeah.
And just things like that. Way more of that happens than more of a sit down formal round table. All right, guys, we're gonna. There's a lot of individual picking guys up that a lot of people can't see that's going on in clubhouses. But when you do have that closed door meeting, sometimes it's good to just say, hey, it's time to go. This is unacceptable. We need to clean up this, and this.
Do you have a favorite pitcher you caught for?
I liked catching Zach Britton, power sinker from the left side, 95-98. I actually didn't like catching the sinker because it was moving so much from the left side. It's such a unique pitch. It's hard to frame, such bowling ball action. I also love catching Darren O'Day, side armor. I could literally catch him in my sleep. It was unbelievable. He threw the ball within my knees almost every single time.
That's
I could
cool.
catch him with one eye.